My name is Omid. As you know, we've been chatting for a long time now. I'm like,
Right.
a young Afghan guy who was born in America, who, grew up trying to like discover his roots. So it's really nice to finally have you on. I told some of my friends I was going to interview you. They're very excited because they love your music too. Recently in New York, they had an event and they played your song Fereshta Jan Fereshta, and they really loved it there. So they're very excited that we're talking. So yeah, so nice to have you on and chat real quickly.
Yeah, thank you so much, and I really appreciate it for your time. And of course, we have been friends for a couple of years, and we are talking back and forward. Uh, I'm really glad. I'm looking forward to answer any questions do you have. And first of all, I would like to say Happy Eid to
Yeah, Eid
you, to
al-Shama
your
Mubarak, inshallah.
family, to all my Afghan friends and family, and I'm really glad to be in your program. And let's start.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll get started with the first question. So who is Wahid Omid? So, how would you describe yourself?
Oh, that's a very difficult question.
Yeah.
uh, Wahid Omid, uh, well, like it's the person who dedicated all his life for music, and he's in love with music. When he was living in Afghanistan, he always dreamed to do something good for his people, for his country. And then I was very lucky. I was studying. No, first of all, before studying, I was born in a very artistic family. My grandfather from my grandma, she was Ghulam Ali Umid, and she was an amazing artist. He was a painter, composer, like a writer, and all his children, like my uncles, my aunts, they were involved in the music. And my grandfather was one of the first speaker in Afghan radio as well. He did a lot for Afghan culture. And from my father's side, Professor Ghulam Muhammad Maimanagi, he is a very famous painter, and he did a lot too for Afghan culture. So basically, I was born in a family that everybody loved music, everybody loved art, and particularly my mom. She was an actress.
Oh,
She was
wow.
working for Afghan radio and TV. She was a speaker. She was playing in the theater, and a very active woman. And she allowed me to go with her to radio. And I was like a 5 years old, and participate in many different theatrical shows. And slowly I started learning and become, first of all, I became a artist of theater before the music. The music journey started in my school. And you can question me and I will answer all your questions. Yeah.
Yeah. I recall in the interview that you did with those two guys from Hong Kong. They're very nice guys. I talk to them sometimes because I collect vinyl records and we talk about the records I get. I remember you mentioned how when you were a teenager, they would sometimes bring you to the Mihli Radio Television, and you could like sing songs. Like they'll bring students and they would sing the songs. And I think one time you talked about how you had a performance there when you were very young. I saw one of them when you were singing with the Zafar Guru, and you were singing that really beautiful Uzbek song. Yeah,
Uzbek song.
yeah. What was it like during that time on TV? Like I think it was the first time they brought TV to Afghanistan, right? Like what was it
Yeah,
like
yeah.
when they bring you there and stuff? If you remember.
Yeah, actually, it was a very good memories because, well, first of all, because I grew up in Kabul and we were speaking Farsi, but of course, sometime I was hearing like Uzbek words in my family, but everybody was in Kabul.
Yeah.
My mom, my mom, she was in a theater playing in Farsi, and but also she was a speaker in Uzbek program, and she was doing some programs, and she speaks fluent Uzbek. So I talked to her once, and because my mom, she is like my teacher, and she helped me a lot, and she encouraged me to be an artist. And she said, "Look, we have a band called Zafar in the Uzbek program. If you are willing to sing with them." I told my mom, why not? Let's get to radio together, and one day when they are programming, planning, like having some program or practicing, and then I can talk to them. So basically, I met them, very talented people, and they test my voice, and they said, "Oh, you can sing. Let's this song. Can you learn the? Do you speak Uzbek?" I said, "Well, unfortunately, I don't. I understand a little bit, but I cannot speak." But they wrote me the lyrics, and I practiced. And can you imagine? I sang that song. I sang in the first time singing on TV, and I was so excited with Afghan clothes and and traditional instruments, and it was very successful.
داغ شکره بزنی unutma خود زمین برم بزنی unutma داغ شکره بزنی unutma داغ شکره بزنی unutma
And that song gave me courage to when I was studying in Lycée Ghazi in Kabul, and they had a band. They had a great band, and they just starting. And actually, the band they had, it was a more traditional harmonia, tabla, and but exciting. So and then I decided to leave the career of theater and start singing.
Oh wow, that's so cool. That's cool because we have access to like the Kabul Times articles, and we see so much about the Zafar group. And I remember finding all this footage and seeing you there, and I was like, wait, that looks like a young Wahid Omid. I was right that it was you. I was thinking this has to be Wahid Omid because it looks like him, and the voice is younger, but it was such a beautiful performance. Like I loved it, even though I don't understand the lyrics. I felt like it was such a beautiful performance, and I like the way the Uzbek music sounds because they use these really specific like rabab instruments and stuff. Like they call it, I think, an Uzbek rabab or something,
Right.
in the guitar, and it sounds very beautiful. So it's very cool to see that. So when you were growing up in Afghanistan, I even have some of my vinyl records. I don't have all of them, but I collect Afghan vinyl records. I think you recognize this guy, right? This is Ustad Jalil Zalan.
Oh yeah, yes.
The song, I think you might recognize the song. It says Pesta Firush. I chose this one because I don't know if Masood Omid's your cousin, but he posted a video of I think he was your grandpa, and they claim he wrote this song. I wonder if that's true. Like, did he write this song or no?
No, this song, Pista Firush, written by my grandfather Ghulam Ali Omid.
Oh wow!
Yeah. That song was one of his first songs he wrote, and probably he's singing his song, maybe on this album. But Pesta Firush was written by my grandfather.
Yeah, that's why. Because if you check on the back of this, because these are hard to find. Like I got this, and I knew I was interviewing you, so I got it from home. The back it just says Mahaliya Afghani. So I was like, that. Yeah, it's Mahali, but there has to be a name. It makes no sense,
Yeah, no, this song has been composed by Ghulam Ali Omid. It's my grandfather. Yeah.
Cool. And then this is a Zara Hawaida vinyl. Like this was pressed in Iran, but he sings like
Okay.
Dokhtare Kabul and Dil Diwana. But growing as a child, do you remember like Ahmad Zahir, Zara Hawaida, and all these like musicians? Like, did they ever influence your style of music, or like did they ever inspire you?
Um, Actually, because my one of my uncle, Ashmat Umid,
Yeah,
he was a very, very good actor. He was a very good writer, and he was working in a theater in Afghanistan. He would, uh, he was famous, Radio Drum, a nighttime program we had, like a program. He was very active in that program as well. And he was writing some stuff. So he was very good friend with Zahir Waido, Ahmad Zahir. They knew each other very well. So I remember once, like my uncle Ashmat, because he was living in Mikrorayon, Kona, like an old Mikrorayon, and he gave me some medication. He said, "Can you please take this medication to Zohar Waido because he's sick and he lives in this block. And can you take it for him?" I said, "Of course." He said, "Do you know him?" I said, "Yeah, yeah, he's a great singer." And I was a boy. I said,
yeah,
"Okay." So I ran and I was kind of excited. And I think he was living on the second floor of, I don't remember which apartment building. And I knocked the door and he opened the door. And I introduced myself. I said, "Hi, my name is Wahid, and this is my uncle Ashmat Umid. Send you this medication." He said, "Okay, thank you." And I was kind of so scared, like talking to him, but
yeah.
he was probably was sick and not very nice with me. So he took the medication and then closed the door.
Oh my God.
So so I ran back to my uncle. I said, "Listen, I took the medication. I gave it to him, but he didn't. He even didn't say hi to me. He said, 'No, it's okay. His character is very hard man.'" So I
Yeah,
said, "Okay." But about Ahmad Zahir, I have a very good, very, very, very good memory, because when my mom was working in the radio, and then that time I started singing, and they show some of my music in the TV. I think Ahmad Zahir was talking to my mom and saying, "Who's this boy?" By calling him Wahid Omid. Omid is your last name too. And then my mom says, "It's my son." He said, "Oh, I really like him. Bring him to me. I can train him to sing and teach him singing." I said, my mom came and told me that story, and I said, "What? Ahmad Zahir wants me to go and study, like learn music from him." And I was so excited.
yeah,
And that time was the time he was killed, like in that week.
yeah.
And then in that time, I was very sad when I heard and I was a child too, and I was thinking, "Oh my God, what a chance I lost!" And I never had a chance to meet that great musician.
Yeah.
And that's the memories I have from that time.
Wow. Yeah, my mom remembers when he died because when she was in school, she said on the day when it was his janaza, everyone just left school. Like everyone in Kabul came to the street, she said, and everyone just went to the funeral because it was, he was such a prophilic, like such a prophanic star. Like everyone loved him. And I hear stories even from like older Afghans here who always had a story about him, like how he was very generous, how he was very kind, how, when he went to Iran, the Shah of Iran gave him money, but then he gave it to the poor. Like there's so many beautiful stories about him. But
Oh
man,
yeah, he was amazing, man.
tell me about how you got into like doing like synth pop and pop and that sort of music. Like when did you shift from, singing this like, traditional music to like, oh, let me explore this like 80s style music, and try to incorporate that to Afghan music.
Yeah, well, basically, I think when the TV opened in Afghanistan, when TV came to Afghanistan, it was a big revolution, because they opened our eyes to hear and listen to different and see different kind of music, different culture. Uh, for me was the first band I fell in love was Buniem. I listened to Buniem and then Bee Gees. I was listening to Beatles, of course, Michael Jackson, then Madonna, and Pink Floyd, and
Pink
like
Floyd,
they were showing amazing bands in the TV. There was a program called Sanremo from Italy, and they were showing lots of lots of talented musicians. Um, from France, we were listening to Mary Mathieu, Joe Dassin, and uh, I got my education from these programs called Rang Orang, and they were playing lots of different stuff. And one day I was thinking to myself, why we cannot do some stuff like that? You know, like if they can do, we can do in Farsi. So I was in the band. Well, I started being part of the traditional band in Lycée Rosy. And in that school, they had a harmonia, tabla, dol, rebab, and esse, like a very simple instruments, like a traditional instruments. Some of the friends and the boys who had an interest too to play like a guitar or modernized music and keyboard and stuff. And I said, let's talk to the school if they give us opportunity to open like a modern band too. We can have two bands, one traditional and one modern band. And we talked to teachers and we ran around Kabul and we found keyboard, guitars, and tongos and drums, and we had talented students that they could play those instruments, and they learned and they were working hard. So we created our band, and I started singing some of the music from Buniem, or singing some Farsi song and making it modernizing. And then I decided to put some girls with it too, because the school, they mix us with the girls' schools. Very respectful, everybody, and there was no discrimination between man and woman, and everybody was, young generation was very nice. And I talked to my teachers, and they said it's a good idea. We invited some girls if they can dance, or the family is okay. They don't have instruction restrictions. They can do with us. And I created a dance group, and we were copying from Buniem. We are copying from other Western music, watching the videos and copying and dancing, and suddenly we became very little time. We learned very fast, and we created our own bands. And we did so many shows. We went around Kabul, and young generation, they loved it. They felt that something new, came to their culture, and they accepted, and they were very nice, and they're very acceptable. So after that, I became very, very, very successful with what I was doing. Most of my teachers and my family, particularly my mom, they told me I need to go and study and become more professional. So in that time, because there was a revolution in Afghanistan, the Communist Revolution, the April Revolution, and they allow students going overseas studying. And I won a prize to go study music. And I went to Russia. It was I was very young, 12, 13 years old. And my family was very nervous to allow me to go so young, but I insisted, and I was able to go to Russia and study, to start studying music.
That's crazy in a cool way. Like, it's very cool to hear that.
And it's changed my life. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I could tell. Especially the Boney M songs, because there is an Iranian artist, his name is Ziya Etabeh. Before the revolution, he did 2 cover songs for Rasputin and my baker, but he's singing it like Iranian Farsi. It'd be cool to hear it in Dari, you know. I've always wanted to hear a Dari version of Rasputin because that sounds
Oh,
cool, you know.
very cool. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
basically, we were singing the songs. Uh, I didn't speak English that time, but
yeah.
we were copying the lyrics, and I don't know how I did it. And we were singing in English, and doing shows. And also, I was listening to Modern Talking too. I was really in love with them as well because they came a little bit later,
Yeah.
before I left for Russia. And then, of course, this is another story. I will answer your questions.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, for sure. So when you went to almost say Sovietska Soyuz, but when you went to the Soviet Union or like Russia, yeah, 12 is very young. Like I remember when I was 12, you know, maybe this is the Amerikai in me. I was just, you know, moody all the time. I was like, man, I want to do things on my own. But then going to another country is just something different, especially going from Afghanistan to like Russia. That's like a you know, big leap. Because I remember my grandpa, my dad, when they went to Russia, they described how modern it was, how big the buildings were. Like they felt like it was not like Kabul. It was like some different utopia. Like how did it feel to going there at that age?
First of all, when I put my foot on the airplane, it was my journey, my life journey started was looking, like I think I was born to be. Sorry for using being elegant. When I was in Kabul, when I was living, I always felt to be elegant and be different and dress up different. Always I like to dress good clothes and uh, be different from the others. So when I went to Russia, of course it didn't surprise me because already, like inside of me, like in my head, I supposed to be there. So of course it was very interesting, very, very new. We started learning Russian language, and the school had a very good band, and I was dying to be part of it, but I couldn't speak the language.
Yeah,
So basically what I did, because I was a musician, I already knew rhythm, I already can sing. So I explained myself somehow to these Russian musicians, and they allow me to sing, but in Farsi. But I taught them the song. I remember the first song I sang, it was a Toto Catonia, Toto Catonia song, Susanna. He was singing Susanna, Susanna. But I made the Susanna, Susanna in Farsi. And basically the music Italian, they copied the chords and everything, but I was singing that song in Farsi, and it went so big that they invited me to every show they had. I have to sing it. And after that, in that school, my teachers, everybody told me that you're wasting your time here. You should go and study music. I came to be a musician and study music, but unfortunately, things happened that the government of Afghanistan, also the politics, they said Afghanistan doesn't need a musician. They need a tractorist. They need a motorist. They need somebody working in agriculture. We don't need a musician. And even it's a long story. I went to Moscow. I met the ambassador. He was Golobzoy. And I told him, I said, I really like to go and study music. And he said, we don't need music. Afghanistan right now doesn't need culture, doesn't need anything like that. You just go study what we send you. Go become a tractorist, become a agronomist, become a working in agriculture. This is what Afghanistan needs. And he didn't allow me. But I'm a fighter, all my life I fight for my rights, for things to be right.
exactly.
I said one day, inshallah, I will I will find my way because I was still young, there was things to learn and first of all, the language and study because of my first years have to be language to learn Russian language. So how miserable was I finished 3 years of my studies in that school. They sent me to college university to study becoming an engineer, and it's Donetsk. The photos I showed you,
Yeah.
yeah. So they sent me the Donetsk. I already grew up and uh, I was speaking very good Russian. So what I did as soon as I came to the university, of course, I right away. Every university they had their own music band. I registered myself in the band, and I was very, 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 very active. And then I started studying in conservatory, nighttime Danish conservatory, after the school to study music, to learn to how to become educated with music. And I met great musicians that it calls Palace of Music, Palace of Young Generation of Donetsk. There was the most famous band was playing. They invited me to sing with them, and I became part of it. Every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I did show and singing in Russian language, and a crowd of thousands of people. I was became part of the band, and then this band, with this band, I participated in the international festival. I send you a photo that I got first place. Was a political music political show, and I got the first prize medal. I got a medal on it, and in that time I met Minister of Culture of Russia, Assistant Minister of Culture of Russia. So I met a very important people, and I had a chance to tell them my story and tell them that I love music and I won't be a musician instead of wasting time in this agriculture universities and stuff like that. I don't like it. They said, okay, come to Moscow and we will help you. So I got the address, I got the courage, and I went to Moscow. I met with the, unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to meet the minister, but the assistant minister, the second person of the Ministry of Cultural, she was a woman. And she was the one told me that everything is possible. She saw me that the minister gave me a medal, which is, I send you the photo. And basically she said, listen, there's a Kiev. In Kiev, there's a very good musical college. We know that most of Afghans who comes to that college, they come with education of 12 years of studying music, then they enter to that program. You didn't do anything of that. You just sang and you participate in the programs and stuff. The only thing can help you, it's your talent. If you can pass to that program, that's your chance. And good luck. She picks up the telephone and calls the director of the school in Kiev saying, listen, I'm sending you a young guy, young man. He's from Afghanistan. He got the first place in this international festival. I believe in him. Give him a chance. Can you examine him and see if he can pass in this exam? He said, okay, please send him. So I take a train and went to Kiev.
Oh, wow.
So, and it's a long journey, like 8-9 hours of journey. So when I got to Kiev, I have to find a place. It was very nervous. And that day they had examines was happening, and there was you can see hundreds and hundreds of students, and all they're educated, all they know music, all they know notes. Who I am? I just a singer. I don't know notes. I just the only thing I had my ears. So I said, okay, God will help me. So I go and I register my name. I give my documents, and they told me you should go to this pavilion where is the doing the vocals, and they are waiting for you. I said okay. So I went there. By the way, before that, I went to see the director of the school. He knew it. Was the one took me to register my name because they don't know who I am, but he already knew. He took me there, and I put my name. They got my all information. Anyway, so I entered to this room, and there was probably, I don't remember, like 10 people sitting. There's a big piano on the middle, and there's a teacher sitting on the top. And before I was going, there was a chair. People are sitting, waiting one by one, going, entering, coming. Some people are coming. I can hear them like they're doing, like they're telling them to do voices and stuff, you know. And I'm thinking they will ask me the same thing probably. And they were singing some programs too, but I don't have any program. I didn't know what I'm going to sing. In Farsi, they don't understand. Have to be in Russia, but the Russian songs I have, it's all pop music. But that's a classical. They're singing opera music. They're singing like a Tchaikovsky music, Rachmaninoff. You know, like uh, I even didn't know them very well. But it takes time. But after when I studied, I learned and I understand their music. Anyway, so when my turn comes, I I went to the teachers. I say hi and I introduce myself. They said, "Oh, you want to be a singer?" I said, "Yes, I want to be a singer, but I'm singing pop music. I'm like they call it Strad music, music of not classical music."
Yeah.
And he said, "No." So they said, "Which kind of music do you sing?" Well, I said I was singing in Afghanistan. I just started recently. I love music, and then I participated in my music bands in when I moved to Russia, and this is I got medals. I started singing with a orchestra band. Oh, so you're an orchestra singer, not classical? I said yes. Okay. Then he said, you know, every singer you have to study in this in this college to become a singer. You have to start with classical music, you know. So they played some notes of piano, and they say, "Can you show us the sound? Repeat the sound." And I repeated. The teacher looked at me and said, "Okay." Then she was doing some sounds of like. Repeat after me the sound, how the sound is repeating the rhythm, the rhythm.
Yeah.
Like she was testing me about the rhythm, and they were probably took like 20 minutes. They testing me musically how I'm able if I understand music, because you know I can sing, but I also have to know rhythm, feel the sound, and that's very important. And they said, "Okay, thank you very much. You can go and come back tomorrow. We have a list, and we will tell you if you are accepted or not." I uh, I left the room, and I felt I didn't feel good because I thought my tests not that very hard comparing to the other ones. They just test me if I can sing. I showed them that yes, I can sing, I can hear the sound, and I can feel the rhythm. So doesn't make that much sense. I didn't show them that I know notes and this, but thanks to God, they understood my situation that I didn't come from that background. I didn't go to school of music to study and learn notes as a childhood, you know, because I didn't have that opportunity in Afghanistan. And I remember a long time ago when I was in Afghanistan, my father was against it that I go to study music. I wanted to go to music school, but they said no. And unfortunately, my father was against it, and I couldn't do. My mom only person she was like supported me a lot. But anyway, so the next day when I went back there was a list. I think from 20 or 25 people of exam, and they took 5 people they accepted, and then I saw my name. I was very happy, and they congratulate me. They said, "You're accepted. Now we're going to send the documents to the University of Agriculture, and we will take you back to Kiev from Donetsk, but you have to work hard and a lot. This is not easy. And you understand that you need to learn. You learn another language because notes and learning classical music and it's
Music
totally,
theory. Yeah.
yeah, totally different things. And I said, I will do my best. I will do my best. And I was so happy and I was crying. And I couldn't believe that my dream come true. So I went there, and all my teachers in Donetsk was very happy for me, and they said, "Good for you. You deserve it. Go and be successful." And that's it. And my life's changed. And then I went to Kiev.
Man, that's amazing. That could be made into a movie, honestly. So you are then brought to Kiev, and by then you're like, you know, teenager, adult, but like, you know, in like a music conservatory, basically, right?
Yes, and then lots of good things happened. I became the head of all uh, students in Kiev, and
Wow.
because of Dr. Najib's brother, he was Ahmadzai. He was
Yeah.
involved in cultural. He was a cultural chate in Kiev, and then when they saw my activities, I was singing in one of the best. They call it Dvorets Kultury. It's a it's a really big dance club that with a big orchestra playing 3 times a week. I was doing show.
Wow.
I was playing there, and then I was doing lots of TV shows. I was singing with a very famous Russian bands, doing music, and I'm singing in Russian language. I was singing, and basically, I became the head of the musical group of the entire city of Kiev, and through me, I was organized lots of shows. We're doing lots of TV shows, and I was doing tours around Russia. I did shows in Moscow in the biggest stages. One of the biggest stage I did a show with a famous singer, Sofia Ratarov, Alla Pugacheva.
Oh yeah,
They're
Allah
very
forget.
famous. Yeah, in Moscow, in Utriniye Pochta. I sang in that program. And then once I did a show, big show with Sofia Ratarov with Golisor in Kiev, Krasny Gvazdika. It's Krasny Lipton. I think the flower called in Kiev. I did a big show there. So we did lots of stuff. I learned a lot, and I became very professional. And then that's what's happened in Afghanistan, because I decided to go for my holidays to Kabul and bring my knowledge and do something there. So for the first time in history of Afghanistan, I took the cameras out of the studio. I remember that even the cameraman says that, oh my God, the camera will fall down or break. I say, listen, everything will be okay. So we did amazing music videos that nobody did. We used so many ideas that nobody even think about it. Because in Kabul, Afghanistan, when you were doing video, you stand up and don't move even. I remember when I did Bowman Bego Bego Bego, I was the first person I did that song actually. You know, I went to Amijan Saburi, and he's a great composer and great writer. I said, Amijan, I have this English song. Can you write it in Farsi for me? And he said, can you sing it for me? I sang for him a little bit. There was no music, nothing, just only me singing for him. he took a pen and paper and started writing, and then he said, repeat. And I repeated, and I felt everything is sitting right on the music. I said, thank you very much. He also did the Fereshta Jan Fereshta, this composed by Iranian singer
Ebi, by Ebi. Ebi,
Ebi
yeah.
Singh, but he's not composer. The composer is Afghan, Zalan Saib. He composed it.
Really? I didn't know
Yeah.
that. Wow.
Yeah, I didn't know that too. I did some little bit discovery, and I found out that this song composed by him, when he sang for Gugush in one program, Gugush asked him, "Can I sing this song?" And then Zalan said he gave him the song. So this song is not belongs to Ibi. Ibi sang it, but the real composer is Zalan, Ustad Zalan. Of course, because that the words was Iranian, Amir Jan Saburi changed to Farsi, Fereshta Jan Fereshta Baraim Sakht Tahammul. And then I recorded, and then of course when I went back to Russia, I think Siddiq or his brother, Tahir Shobab did, yeah, but the original was made by me, and I sang first time, and Amir Jan Saburi did the lyrics for that song, and I did lots of movement, and I did the filming in the wedding, Afghan wedding in Kabul hotel. People were like they didn't know what to do. Like I said, I'm so sorry. I would like to do this video here and make your program much interesting, you know. And we did this become a history, you know. And then also I recorded more songs outside of studio in Kabul.
آنم بقن وطنستان افغانستان افغانستان بگذار افتخار میهن در کنار میهن باشد
They were very, of course, they are very active. They really like to bring modern music to Afghanistan, and I'm very grateful for them. Farijan Rasagar worked very hard, Khalid Jan Zakar, and Mahmoud Jan, Fahim Jan, Farhad Jan, they're all. And Jan Saburi was the head of the singers with us. And I did lots of singings with them. Do you know, I did almost 80% of shows with them for Russian army, because I was speaking Russia and I was singing Russian language, and we're doing lots of shows. And after that, I started with another band playing music in Afghanistan. It was a great memories. It was great memories.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
I mentioned Golisork because I have this vinyl that was pressed in Russia. They went to a music competition in Kazakhstan in Alma-Ata in 1989. They sang two songs. One is Zari Zari Karda, and the other one is Gofte Kime Goftam Tura. Were you in that festival with them, or do you remember that event or anything?
I was with them with some festivals. We sang there was a band called Yalla, group Yalla from Uzbekistan. We did some shows because you know, it was so long ago. I forgot the names and the lots of stories I forgot. Yeah, unfortunately. One more band I was in Kabul. I was part of the. Even I was managing part of the music. And when I came back from Russia, they took our passports or our documents, and they sent me to Gulalad to be a part of the band. And from there, I went to Turkey with Farhad Darya, Simajan Tarana, and we did a show. And then after that, I didn't go back to Afghanistan, and I went to Canada.
I know them because I have footage of them performing with Ruhollah Roheen, Sadiq Shabab, and they were singing Arabic cover songs. One was Darde Omid Intizara, which is an Arabic cover song, Sadiq Shabab song. That Rohala
Yeah,
Rohini saying Mano Barakshani, but it's like an Egyptian song cover.
yeah, and I really liked that song when he sang it, and then I took it and I changed it and I modernized it. Now these days I'm going to have a new music video with that song. You heard that? I sent
Yeah,
it to you.
I heard it. Yeah, that Omid. Yeah, I heard that. And I was like, yeah, this is a very good like modern version of it. You know,
Yeah.
like I love both versions. The modern one's really good, and even the one sung back then too. Did you actually compose that song for him, or did you help him discover that song, or did they make that
No,
up
no,
themselves?
no. Actually, I heard when he sang that song, and somewhere else heard that song, and I really like it. And then I had a friend in Vancouver, and he helped me with the lyrics, and I wrote some lyrics, and he did, and then I just recently I changed the music. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's cool. So do you remember ever working? Did you ever work with Rohala Roheen or Sadiq or Tahir Shabab or ever interacted with
Oh yeah,
them or
yes.
no?
We were together in that band. I almost 1 year I was there as a soldier,
Yeah.
and we worked together. They're really good guys, and I have very good memories with them. Very nice. And Farid Jan, he's in Europe somewhere, and he was singing too. And I was Siddiq, and a very good friend of mine, and we were all friends, you know.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, because I see the photos from back then, and it's cool to see all these connections. That makes
And then,
sense.
yeah, then when I was in Canada and started, business, and because music was harder, and until I learned English, and then I was doing property management courses, and then I became very successful with that, and then, of course, I opened recording studio, and I recorded lots of Afghans. I helped doing CD with Nasrat Jan Parsa,
Yeah, put all the
I
record. Yeah.
did almost 5 CDs for them. I recorded for him. He
Yeah,
always stayed with me in my place, and I was doing his CD. We were working together. He was a very talented musician,
I can
and
imagine.
I'm very sad for losing him. And I did Habib John Qadiri, Arusi Gulha. That was one of his best CD. I did some music for him, composed some songs, and many different Afghan musicians. I worked with the other Afghan singers, but particularly I'm very proud of Mujda Jamalzada.
Yeah, yeah,
She
Mujahideen, yeah.
she was one of my best students, and I really love her. She's a great person, very talented, and I'm really proud of her.
Wow. So how did she become your student? That's what I'm curious to know. Like, how did you discover her? Like, I want to hear
Well,
that story.
actually, I knew her mom, Nasrin Jan.
Yeah.
She's a great friend of mine, and sometime when I had shows in Vancouver, she was a speaker in the program.
Oh
And
wow.
then she came to me, she said, "Listen, Waijan, I would like my daughter. Her name is Mujda, and she likes to learn guitar. And you can help her to learn guitar." I said, "Do you know, I play guitar, but I'm not a professional guitarist." Okay, well, let her come, and I will try my best. So when she came, and she was a very shy girl, and uh, when I showed a couple of chords on guitar, I thought it's difficult for her, you know. I
Yeah.
said, "Let me try your voice," and she said, "No, I don't want to sing. I'm very shy." I said, "No, you never know. Let me try and see if you can sing, and me I can help you. You don't need to sing right away. Learn, and then you can sing." So I play a couple of notes, and I saw her voice is good, and the notes good, and the rhythm is good. And I said, "Listen, I can train you. You become singer." And she said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." So we started training her classical the way I studied, you know, and I taught her how to start from diaphragm, how to take the air out, and sing properly, and then how to get the notes in. Almost 3 years, I trained her to sing, and I saw her voice is coming like a bomb, and said, "Wow, you're really good." And then she want to sing. I said, "No, you're not ready yet. Let me to train you well, and then you can sing." and then we can take a song and make a video. But she really insists to sing because she was tired of training every day, like 4 times per week, for many years. I said, okay. And then, of course, I did Shir Bachai Afghani for her. I
I
did all
remember
the
that
music.
song.
Yeah, and I edited the video, and I had a film company too at that time. And of course, the first night it hit 1 million, and she became very famous. And after that, she's started singing. That's it. And then started making more videos, and after that, she became very big.
Wow, wow, no, it's beautiful to hear that story. When I was little in 2007, I remember when I first found your stuff back then, and then I followed your YouTube channel, and I remember seeing that video, and I thought it was very cool to see that video at that time because there really wasn't like too much variety back then of Afghan music, and I guess it was like developing this new pop scene. So it's
Yeah.
cool to hear the backstory behind that. You know, as like an 11, 10-year-old kid, it was very mesmerizing to see that video and the dance and choreography that was there.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
speaking of, mhm.
Go
Oh,
ahead. Go
you go,
ahead.
man. So speaking of choreography, when you did the video for Zamaat Kashida, I noticed it was in the Continental Hotel. So explain to me how like the choreographing went, and especially the fog smoke. I've never seen an Afghan music video and that time use fog smoke. It was interesting to see the fog smoke, the saxophone, just all these like different scenes. It was so European, very cool to see. Do you like remember anything about the making of that
Yeah,
video?
yeah, yeah, I do remember. I remember that even that day, Oji Komron was swimming in the pool, and he was making fun of my video, like
Oh
he
my
was
god!
there with someone, and I remember that very clearly. But anyway, so that video, the fires crackers, we got it from the airport. That was for emergency,
Like the flares. Okay. Oh
for
man.
the airplanes, emergencies. Yeah,
Right.
and basically that was a great opportunity to do that video. Of course, all my clothes became very dirty because that color, like
Yeah.
those white, green, I was I think red, and those colors
Yeah.
destroyed my colors, my clothes, my shoes, everything. I bought it for that video brand new. But anyway, so we did that video, and the choreography I did by myself. It just came with the music, and I did it. Yeah.
That's very cool. And then I like how you recorded Bego Bego Bego. I didn't realize it was a wedding because I looked at the background. I'm like, there's a clarinet player there. And then there's some other guys, but I'm like, wait, I hear no clarinet. So it's
Oh,
interesting to hear it was during like a wedding like ceremony. I do recognize the clarinet player. He's a famous Afghan clarinet player. I know one of his students because I'm friends with people who went to the Afghan music academy because after the Republic came back, he went back to Afghanistan with Ustad Sadamas and they opened a music school and he was teaching clarinet there.
yeah.
Yeah, it
Well,
was
yeah, he was actually my when I was student in Russia, in Kiev. His name is Farid Shifta,
yeah,
and he was
Fereshta.
my almost his room was next to my room. He studied music school in Kabul, and actually, lots of people are surprised when I started studying in that school because they didn't know who I am. Suddenly,
Yeah,
from nowhere, coming, because most of the students who studied in that school and that college, they studied in Kabul in school, music school. So, and that day in Kabul, Ariana Kabul Hotel, when I did the video, he was there with that band. Um, uh, and basically, because the music already been recorded, I recorded it's my voice on top of it. The music was original from Modern Talking, but the voice is original, my voice, and we recorded. And then they were just pretending on the background to be part of that music video, and the clarinet didn't go well.
yeah.
But it's okay. We didn't pay attention about that. But I'm glad he's a good musician, and he did a lot for Afghanistan, Farijan. Yeah.
He did, yeah. And even one of his students opened up a new Afghan orchestra here in the US, and I work with him sometimes. And he even told me how his teacher was Farid Shifta and how he was a very good guy, very quiet guy, kept to himself, but was a very, nice man who educated all those kids that were in the music school. You know the music school I'm talking about, right? It was the one. It's called Anib. I talked to a lot of those people who went to that school usually because now they're all in the West and it's like like they
Yeah.
fled the country and now most of them still want to do music, which is beautiful. So that's why they're opening up their own orchestras now and they're trying to play with other musicians and like different symphonies because they want to keep the music alive. And it's beautiful to see that. I feel that like my mom, when she came to America, she was very young. Like all of like my mom and her family, when they came, whatever aspirations they had, they stopped because it was more of survival. So I feel like, the first wave of Afghans who came to America, Canada, they had to care about survival. So like any
Right.
hobbies that they had, they just forgot about it. And it's sad in a way because there was so much potential, but it's beautiful to see this new generation doesn't want to give that up. Like all these students, they don't want to give up the music, so they still play the violin, they still play all these instruments, and they still want it to live on. It's beautiful to see that.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. In Afghanistan, we have lots of talented people. Unfortunately, things happening, and it's it's very difficult times right now.
Do you have any messages to all the Afghan artists, like Afghan painters, Afghan musicians, all the like young Afghans out there who want to go into music and arts? Like, what advice do you have for them, or what do you want to say to them?
Well, I mean, uh, as a musician, as a person, I've been getting lots of experience in life, being living in different countries and now absorbing the situation in Afghanistan from far. Uh, you know, First of all, for Afghans who lives in Afghanistan, please don't give up. I know the situation is hard right now, but please don't give up and try your best as much as you can. Work on your music, work on your art, and don't make your dream to die. And find a way to work on it. And for the other musicians here and outside, I mean, they are already uh, they know the life and they are good. Uh, it's hard for me to advise them what to do, but the only thing they can do just to do good music, enjoy music. Don't give discrimination between music. Uh, every music is have his own style. One person singing classical, one person singing modern music or pop music or dance music. Every music has its own character. And when all this music adds to our culture, it makes us rich. And we cannot stay in one point. Okay, everybody singing in harmonium tabla have to be in this way. No, discover new music, new sound, and be open-minded. And that way we can be richer. That's my message.